All right, good morning, friends. Make some adjustments here. Okay, it's good to be here this morning with you all. Thanks for joining us here at Journey Home Meditation for the morning sit. Today's Monday, the 15th of September. And we're going to do some shared breath work, a bit of poetry probably, and some contemplation, and share some meditation practice. So I appreciate you being here today. I'm Michael, and I am very happy to be here. So let's come together and just begin this intentional time that we spend just a few moments in our day to come into relationship more with our body and understand that as multifaceted as we are, there is a unification within all of this. My thoughts, my emotions, my memories, my physical sensations. These are all vehicles of my own expression and understanding, and taking these moments to sort of collect ourselves. Right? This is important work, I think. So how about a few conscious moments inviting awareness of our breath? It's a very good place to begin. Just for these first few moments, continue breathing in the way that you've been breathing all morning, or at least the way that you are breathing right now. And just bring your conscious awareness to that breath. See how that breath feels. Are you breathing in through the nose or the mouth? Are you breathing directly into your chest, or are you breathing down with your diaphragm, deep breaths into the belly? Are you holding tension in your shoulders, your lower back? And as we have our awareness shift to all of these places, make slight adjustments to facilitate the breath, to make the breath easier. Lengthening the spine, sitting up a bit, straightening the lower back just a little bit more. Bringing the shoulder blades together just a bit in the back can help open the chest and open the heart. Resting with your palms facing upwards also helps the shoulders to roll open just a bit. Leveling your chin to the floor. Your legs can be crossed in any number of positions if you're seated on the floor, on a pillow or a mat, but you want to make sure not to create tension or stress in the body. So be aware of your knees, your ankles. Sitting on a smaller pillow underneath your bum can help to elevate the hips above the knees, which really does help with both posture and longevity in sitting comfortably in this position. You can also be in a chair with your feet to the floor or on a couch. You could even be standing, or you might be seated in your car listening to this as you commute. Wherever you are right now, whatever you're doing, this is a non-violent practice. So treat your body with kindness and let's facilitate a few mindful breaths. Beginning with a body scan, you can just bring your attention either from the top of your head down to the bottom of your feet and back up, or start at your feet, wherever you'd like to move. But a body scan, the purpose of a body scan is to become more aware of the subtle feelings in the body, the subtle sensations and emotions. And the reason we do that is because those smaller voices, those subtle things, are telling us where we can make adjustments, or at least letting us know what it is we are experiencing in our bodies. Because even the smallest tension or discomfort in the body is going to have an effect on the way we hold ourselves, the way we move. It's going to definitely have an effect on our ability to pay attention to others or to sit with discomfort on an emotional level. Um, and having awareness of what we are experiencing allows us to understand the difference between what we think is about us and what we know is coming from us. And that's a big deal. So when you're ready, you can scan the body and find the best position for gentle breathing. Shift the breath to the nose, breathing in through the nose, and breathe as if you're breathing all the way to the bottom of the belly, like underneath the belly button, down all the way into the groin, just pulling that diaphragm down as far low as you can. Uh, this is going to expand the abdomen because the diaphragm is making room for itself as it moves downward, massaging your organs and moving them out of the way as your lungs are filled with air. And then as you breathe out, be really aware that you are breathing out entirely. So let's take a few breaths together today, breathing in through the nose. And release. And breathing in. Release. Again. Become aware of any shift in the sensations of the body or in your feelings emotionally, your thoughts, and attribute those shifts to the breath. And it's through conscious breathing in a way that is calm and healthy that we can begin to calm our emotional storms or relax the physical body, to release tension and release the things that we need to reduce our inflammation, our stress, our grasping. And it can be a tool to slow that chattering mind. In fact, let's just spend a few meditative moments right now, allowing our breath to take us into a place of stillness. Finding stillness and silence in a busy and loud world is a practice worth holding. It really is. I'm going to invite the bell. You may find a moment of a more noticeable shift in your body and with a continued practice of mindful breath. Bringing in that space allows for the more subtle voices, the quiet voices to come forward. Oh, man, sometimes emotions just start to come out. It's really beautiful. The egoic mind, the mind that's focused on identity, uh, and this is uh, not saying these things to shame that mind. This is what the mind does. It'd be like shaming the lungs for breathing, or you know, shaming our digestion for creating excrement. It's that's ridiculous. It's what it does. The mind thinks, and our minds identify. We identify who we think we are with who we think others are, and how safe we are in any relative moment. It's pretty much the uh, job of identity, is to find safety. Our identities are the way that we convince ourselves whether or not we are safe with a group of people. And that, of course, lends itself towards like groupthink and group identifications and othering people who aren't like you. And I think a lot of this still comes back to our uh, the way that we identify safety. The problem, of course, being when we rely only on our mind to let us know whether or not we are safe, we are discounting our intelligence of our body, the intelligence of our energy, and our spiritual intelligence. And we override those things. And belief can be very easily manipulated. We manipulate our own beliefs all the time. Uh, we may have some very strong beliefs about something, and we rationalize or justify in a way that is in opposition or contrary to those beliefs. We see it when people are um, pro-life but somehow anti-human. Uh, once they're born, then it becomes this sort of tend to judge or shame or even call for violence against other people, unless it's someone that you identify with. Then if you identify with someone who violence is being enacted upon, you open up yourself to feeling as if that violence is directed at your identity, and you become reactive, scared, angry, defensive, all of these things. I think this is true pretty much across the board for most of us, unless we have a very, very sound practice of understanding that our thoughts are not any more true than any other subjective truth. And with this in mind, part of the practice of what we're doing is to reassociate with our body, learning the language of our body, the language of sensation, language of emotion. And when that egoic mind is really running the show, it will create stories and rationalizations for every sensation and every emotion. And then it does what it can to change it. Um, for instance, sitting in a room, the temperature begins to drop a bit. Um, if you hyper focus on the temperature of the room, you'll begin to experience the cold in a different and more uncomfortable way, or you'll experience the warmth and the heat in a different way. And we can use this to our advantage, to relax into something, or we can use it to, I wouldn't say our disadvantage, but we still believe it's our advantage to want to change something or to suffer what it is we're experiencing. And it's like this with emotions. When we start to have emotions of sadness, our mind may want to immediately give a narrative to that says something has been taken from you. When you experience sadness, and if you're feeling sad, then it must be something that you lost, and it must be someone took that from you. It's not right here. We need justice. Something needs to be done about this. And this happens very commonly with death. People start calling for justice, and our view of justice is so well defined as a punitive process where someone needs to be punished. Then we start calling for heads. And there's a part of us that, with that identity, how we identify as a part of a group, who believes that that's what justice is. There is no justice without punishment. There is no justice without seeking out and bringing vengeance upon someone who either is responsible or is identified with someone who is responsible. See, we start seeking out these other identities. And then for our own feelings of safety, we start to identify who is and who is not like me. And if we begin that path, we first initially will find feelings of safety and comfort in our body, which is great. It's great to feel safe. But when that safety is predicated on the notion that you have to be like someone to feel safe, then the only logical conclusion to that is going to be to rid yourselves of exposure to those you don't like. And we see this all of the time. We see this playing out all around us. And it's all coming back to the illusions of identity and othering. And this is not a judgment of these behaviors. This is recognizing that this is the natural aspect of the thinking mind. This is what the thinking mind can do very quickly. And there's reason for it. And most of those reasons revolve around meeting a need that you have. It's just the ways in which the mind concocts the narrative to meet those needs. That's where we have to become somewhat forgiving and wary. But when we have a practice like this morning practice that we share together, where we can take that time to release the mind of its need to control, allow the thoughts to relax, allow the body to relax. Allowing the body to relax often leads to the thoughts relaxing, because the thoughts are functioning to justify sensation, to justify emotion, to justify what it is you're experiencing and decide how to get you more safe or more pleasure in any moment. So when the body can relax, tensions release, thoughts calm. And when we can get to that place in our practice where our thoughts are not reacting, they're just sort of there, just humming like a fan in the background, then the emotions can come up without stories. And oh, there are emotions. There are emotions. The movement of the inside of our bodies, our empathy, our connection, our compassion, those are all there. our fear, our sorrow. All of these things are active all the time in our body. And if we can experience them as they are without the narration of our identity, whew, it wants to just flow. Seeing the violence that we see in this world on a daily basis, it is not commonplace for our nervous system to experience this. It is an aberration of how our species evolved to get here. We did not evolve through sectarian ultraviolence. We evolved through cooperation. We evolved through community. We evolved. When I say we evolved, what I mean is we became who we are because we had these systems in play that provided our needs in a way that was mostly easy. Right? But then we started somehow making a turn towards living in the information and the thoughts and the mind. We started rationalizing our emotions and our fears and our anger with belief. And those beliefs became strengthened and fortified, and anybody who stepped out of those beliefs were punished, and theirs began the punishment, because that punishment, and it comes from this feeling of I need to be safe, and you're doing something that makes me feel unsafe, so we're going to punish you. And it just builds and compounds from there. And now we are where we are, and we are profoundly unhealthy. Our bodies are sick all of the time. Our inflammation is present all of the time. We crave foods that poison us, not nourish us. And any being craving poison is doing so for a reason. And the problem is, just like toxic herbicides that you would spray on a garden, they are indiscriminate. Those poisons are indiscriminate. And we use them in gardens because there are elements that we want to go away. Things that we think this is dangerous, this is not preferred, this thing is harmful. I want that to go away. But when we just dump poisons all over it to kill the things we don't want, we also lose the things we do want. We lose the things we need. And we're doing this with information. We are dumping toxic information into an already unwell mind, a mind that's hell-bent on identity and identifying and othering and punishing. And we inform and strengthen that mind with these mindless practices that don't check in with how the body feels as a feeling, not as a reality or a truth. Now, I'm not saying that feelings aren't real. They're very real, but they don't have stories. Feelings are just feelings. They're emotions, they're sensations, they're feelings in the body. They don't need a narrative. They don't need a story. They don't need a justification. We just can feel them. We can feel them and let them move through us, and not use them as fodder for a mind that we have weaponized. So that's why I do this practice. And that's why I share this practice. And that's why this morning, even as pained as my body is right now and how difficult it is for me to walk, I made sure to get up and get out of bed and do what I needed to do to get here this morning in time to share this practice, because it's important for me. And I think that it's an offering that I feel is important for the world. If you are here and you are experiencing positive effects of this practice, then that's why you came today. And that's why I came today. Because I am here to experience loving and gentle ways to relate beyond my mind and my identity. So thanks for being here. Let's see what Bell Hooks has for us today. We're doing Bell Hooks' Appalachian Elegy, Poetry in Place. And we're going through them from beginning to end, and we are on number 27 today. Sublime Shadows. Okay, sorry. Let me step back. I haven't read these ahead, so I don't know what each day is going to be. And we've found that this practice often aligns with what the daily Appalachian Elegy will be, aligns with what we're talking about. So let's see. Number 27. Sublime shadows of midnight, bronze, brown, and gray white, dappled black beauty, thunder, man of war, a dynasty of flesh, roaming in the mind's eye, pondering such power harnessed, driven, preyed upon by human will and desire. Sublime shadows of midnight, bronze, brown, and gray, white, dappled black beauty, thunder, man of war, a dynasty of flesh roaming in the mind's eye, pondering such power harnessed, driven, preyed upon by human will and desire. Wow. So many things come to mind when I'm reading this piece with, the immediate relationship that I see to it is I see this relationship preyed upon by human will and desire. And she's talking about bronze and brown things, black beauty, talking about black people, black earth, coal, brown earth, clay, all of these ways in which a separated people have preyed upon these others. A dynasty of flesh roaming in the mind's eye. And then I also see a relationship to horses and oxen and like the things that we call the beasts of burden. This relationship to how when we step out of that healthy relationship, we think that something else can be used for our purposes. How many steps it took to get there, that the mind can create a story that allows for that. So I think this piece does fit with today very well. Thanks for being here today, everyone. I really appreciate having that practice to share with vulnerability with each other today, because just feeling those emotions come up without a story about them, like this is because I feel this because of this thing or that thing or this person, but just to feel them was so liberating. Just to know that I have those feelings and my mind doesn't allow them to come up for some people or some movements or some ideas or some things, but to know that inside of me there's humanness that connects with humanness, and that humanness goes beyond just our human bodies, but it goes into the way that we are a part of the everything of existence. We are a product of the world, of the earth. We all come out of the earth and move back into the earth. We're just breath expanding and contracting. And to know that I can still have all of that sensation, all of those feelings without, when I can get past my story of, am I allowed to feel this in this way? And with all of the violence that we see and all of the justifications for more violence that we see, it's really amazing to just feel really fucking sad, like deeply sorrowful for all of us in such a loving way. So just put down your fucking guns. Breathe all the way to the bottom of your belly. Shut your fucking mouths and listen to the sound of each other's breaths. That's what I want to say to the world. Just come and sit down and take a breath. But I don't know how to say that in my daily life so well. So I'm happy to be able to be here and practice that this morning. Thanks for sitting and taking a breath with me.